And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Whiskerwood. The last part, we just adjusted the city off of the changes in the fishing and a little bit with the farming. The main change to the farming, I think, is that fields stay fallow while the farmers take the time to clear the rocks. And then also the fish, you can have deplete fishing areas, although it's... As long as you're not overlapping the fishing docks too much, you probably won't notice that. So yeah, those are the two main changes. So, right now we're waiting for the new tea area, let's say. The new tea area is having the rocks cleared out of it, because this is all area that we leveled. Should make for nice farming later, but for right now, it means we've got lots of rocks at the floor to clear out before we can actually farm it. And then somewhere in here we'll end up doing a spice farm as well. There's spice and tea over here. And then other than that, it's just getting a reliable source of mushrooms, so we can get skewers going. Yeah, these guys... We'll swap one of these guys back to making smoked fish. Because we've got adequate fish, adequate fuel, not adequate mushrooms. And I think everything else, if we were to go for fancy food, sort of the fancier foods, right? Come down here to the fine kitchen. Skewers obviously require mushrooms. Mushroom stew requires mushrooms. Berry soup, I think, is the only one there that does not require mushrooms. But that one requires jam pastries, which is flour and berries. And is the other one in there? Berry soup. Which probably comes from, like, the kitchen. Where's the berry soup? I can do a compare and contrast. Okay, berry soup is berries, yeah. So we're not growing berries, otherwise the way around not having mushrooms would be probably going for the very fine. The fine dining would probably be the berry soup jam pastry. So in my idea, because we're probably going to go for hearty meals here, I need to get the mushrooms flowing so we can get the fish skewers. So on the farming side, we need to get fishing, or we need to get more mushrooms coming, and we need to get the tea and spices. And then we might actually have this village pretty close to completion. This area down here is going to be more mushroom farming. We'll probably start putting farms down here once we've finished clearing the holes in this half. Because we've got the heating done up on half here, and then we're going to basically work towards the other end, and yeah. In the long run, this is going to be mushrooms, 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 and oh, so many mushrooms. If anything, we need more farmers. We're going to need more farmers. Okay, we got a woodcutter here that has no access to trees. I think it is time that we move you to a different island altogether. We'll keep, obviously, chopping trees down on an island, but for the moment, I think we're good over there. Yeah, I think we have enough woodcutters over there. Let's start woodcutting over here instead. And then obviously we need a quick bridge over here. A bit of a covered bridge to get most of the way across. The deep portion, at least. And then at some point we could actually do some gathering over here because there's some berry bushes and such. Okay. We definitely have enough flour to make into bread. So our food quality has definitely improved. We're now going to pretty reliably being able to feed these guys 2-star food. Now, whether or not our people are smart enough to always get the 2-star food is maybe a different question. I should probably go around all the dining halls and tell them not to serve regular fish anymore. In theory, that should be enough to feed 220 between those 4, so it might actually be a reasonable time to get another good eatery. Maybe we should tell you to not serve, not go acquire fish and mushrooms. Instead, you should be focusing on acquiring the more fancy stuff. Still light showers. Oh, the piped water is actually a little low. I need to get some more water piping going. Smuggler. So once again, we can sell off some of the smoked fish, because we actually got it plenty. Sell off the woven cloaks. Sell down the ropes. Sell down the furniture. Sell down fuel. Okay, 11 bars of gold bullion. Not that we've been actually using the gold bullion for anything. We've been hoarding it like we're dragons. Although I suppose if we were hoarding it like dragons, we'd probably try to get even more than what we've got. Whiskerwood ship. We're looking for farmers with no significantly negative traits. Okay, I'm going to do a reroll here. See if we can get a better farmer list. Apprentice Content Swift, that's a definite good. I think that's the only good one there. We're just going to take one. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Yeah, just the one. And then we do need more housing over here. Again, we got housing for 14. We worked out there's like 18 people that live over here, or work over here, so if we can give them some nearby housing, that saves them having to run across the entire island to make their housing. Well, actually, splurge. We'll get. We only need one more house to house everyone. We'll make sure that there's 3 spare. And then let's work on a pump while I'm thinking about it. 1 water pump. There we go. Yeah, we'll put a pump in there. That'll be a little bit less dependent on the water consumption. We maybe don't need it because the water is still pretty full. But it's not perfect. We'll go ahead and put another tank over here. yeah, we got a nice little happy town here. We are slowly working towards, I think, the end game tech here. And yeah, I think the biggest complaint we're having every day from the Whiskers is just their food quality, because they're picky when it comes to their food. Well, I think they were picky when it comes to their housing as well, but we've perfected housing, so they're not complaining about the houses anymore. They might complain about the furnishings, right? They don't have haven't set up specialized bedding yet. Although we may be doing that in the very soon, as you may be able to tell from. I've only got a craft master of that type. Presumably we'll have to assign someone of that type. Can I get it? Oh, I've got. Okay, that'll work. Are you actually the? You are a craft master of that type as well. Okay. Let's just quickly train. Actually, let's set this craft master and we'll replace you with a different craft master for the moment. Oh, apparently low on that type of person as well. Get one of those guys trained. We'll have a craft master serve here for the moment. In that job. And then obviously when the pop down here gets trained, when he's trained, we can replace the master with the apprentice. The indication that there's a building with production limited is actually from the building behind the one we're looking at. Okay, and then I'm going to want to put limit... Well, actually, depending on the list of things we could sell, I'll set the limit to like 100 for the moment, just in case it's not a list of things we can sell. Okay, we move you up the hill. And a little bit of pathing here, so that those can get access to those ones as well. There goes the rock clearing. 20%. So they haven't started farming this again since the changes. They harvested what was in the field and haven't gone around farming again. Even worse here, 73. So yeah, that's why the food quality has well, food quality has both gone up and down. We're very reliably two. But the place that we have assigned to go make 3 and the form of the skewers is, well, we had 2 at one point. It's not working because the rock's in the mushroom field. Yep, again, the biggest complaint is bland food. It's gotten cold enough that the pollution started to kick back in, which is also going to play a part. It is something we could fix in the long run. And it's maybe something that we should think about fixing. Although that's going to be... Well, unless I set up a local... I'd set up a local boiler, I suppose. Thinking about doing steam heating over here. But although it would be blowing... Although, is that a problem? I'm not planning on putting major housing districts on that island. Tax collector. So, trinkets go out the door to pay the taxes. And a bunch of fish goes out the door to pay the taxes. And then cotton. We're technically turning it into fabric as well. Here we go. Yeah, I'm thinking about putting boilers over here. A steam boiler. So we can do a shower and a... Yeah, we're gonna go that level. Okay, let's quickly do... I'm thinking about it. When I've decided I'm gonna do it. We need a water pump over here. The water pump can be a little bit closer to civilization, I suppose. Saves a little bit of copper plummet around. And then the... Of course, we'll need a water tank. The steam... Oh, actually, no, the steam boiler... Never mind, that's not quite it. Because I want the pollution to come off this end of the island. Yeah, it's going to be weird because I'm going to have to walk through the farm to get here. That should be fine, though. Oops, that was not supposed to be the steam boiler, that was supposed to be the water tank. Wondering why it's telling me I can't get out on that, can't get to that building. It's like, I don't need to get to the building. It's the wrong building. Go! And then, if I really want to save some space, I can technically put the bathhouse pretty close by. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we'll get that assembled. That'll provide a bathing alternative to the bathing docks here, and we can also hook that up to do steam heating of the area. Old medical chest. Yeah, let's do this. So we're gonna do soap, and in theory we make fertilizer, so I'm not gonna grab that. I'm gonna grab the spices and the ration meals. Okay, farmers. Expects more from life is not gonna be too bad. Because that just means he's gonna provide unhappy thoughts if we don't provide it for him. And then can't smell works reasonably well for me. We can put them in the bakeries or something. Bakeries and smokeries. Craftmaster Inquisitive, that's fine. That's another farmer. We'll grab a Swift. Like a Swift. Use the rest. Okay, once those houses are done, we should actually have the housing. Basically have the housing queued. Nope. First time Twitch chatter. Hello and good evening. How are you doing and how goes the colony development? It looks nice from what I can see. Everything's going well. The colony is going quite well. This is obviously the first time I think we've played since. We can put the path there. Oh, because it's a bit of a field. That's what's going on. This is the first time we've played since they did the changes to the fishing docks, where they actually have a catchment area. They compete with the incubation area. And then they did change on the rocks. So now fields don't, if you have them set to remove rocks, don't farm the field until they're done clearing the rocks. Which is kind of what we're waiting for over here. That one's actually, in theory, being farmed now. Or will be soon. 0%. 0% I can go ahead and turn the rocks off. And yeah, there he's got 7 tea leaves in it already. And this one was the worst. When we put it down, it was 90. So, they're making progress. Slow and steady progress. Oh, before I forget, let's swap these guys out for farmers. Okay, farmers might be a little overqualified, but that's fine. And then can't smell... Make sure the ones that can be basic farmers here are can't smell first. Okay, so it's just those two. Twitch chat's asking, nice. I was about to ask if you were running the patch 19. I was a fishing colony before the patch. Now it's back to drawing board and more farms again. Yeah, it wasn't that bad to fix. Well, this colony didn't necessarily need a bunch of fixing. I didn't even really move much of the docks. Because I'd mostly distributed the fishing docks across the village to be with the various working places, right? So I think this area we had 2, so I just reduced it down to 1. And then over here, over where we started, obviously, we had 2 right next to each other. I reduced it down to 1. And then I didn't reduce the number of docks. We still have the same number of docks. I just basically moved them someplace else. So we still got 6 docks, which has been working out. Although at this point, we're mostly probably shipping fish to the smokeries to be smoked. So I probably don't need the... Now them being distributed is maybe a little bit of an issue, because now the fish has to get transported a bit to get the smokeries, which are concentrated. Of course, one of the things that might have smoothed the transition is right before patch 19 went out, the last night we streamed this run, we went ahead and we just set up our bakeries, or set up the flouring for the bakery. So we've got the flour going all the way across the island to provide basically endless flour to the bakeries. So that's offsetting the need for fish. Okay, pirate blockade. I just usually throw machinery at the pirates. And a couple coats. There we go. Oh, my pumper is done, so get someone on pump it. Pump site's done. There. And then once they're built over here, we're gonna need a person to do pumping over here. Are we in the catchment areas for the fire tenders, or do we need more fire tenders? I think we'll be in the catchment area of that one. To be fair, we probably should just move the fire tender. I've got 2 fire tenders over here to manage the old heating stoves. Well, I say old. Manage the 4 heating stoves over here. I think we're going to replace that with steam heating for the next winter. Originally, we went with heating stoves over here because that was around when I had, or I was still in the process of putting the steam heating over in the rest of the colony, and I didn't want to transport it even farther across the island. There's spice cultivation. So let's start the next research, which is the spice grinder. Making the Making the long dash over 2 more islands for water and steam, I think, was going to be an issue for, well, at least issue in the copper. We're running out of copper, getting the plumbing out to the bathhouse here. So instead of doing that, I decided to build a local steam water supply. See how that works out here. Oh, they built the boiler before the water pump. That's not gonna work. Although the water pump's got its copper inbound, so it's just a matter of time. Probably the bigger thing that's affecting the colony, again, is the change of the rockiness, because we had a couple of mushroom farms where we hadn't cleared all the rocks in the farm yet. So this mushroom farm hasn't been making any mushrooms since patch 19, or since the last stream. Same with this one down here. Although I probably have these farms way too big, which isn't helping. That's a big chat message. That's interesting. Have you noticed heavy drop in the amount of fish you were able to tame pre-patch 19? I only asked since my docks face outward to the ocean. I was curious if we had open sea ahead of us. Would it really cause issues? Could see the waterways between islands having issues and multiple places that way. Sorry if it feels a bit of a question. I feel like you've done exploring in this patch, if that makes sense. The question above. Yeah. So yeah, let's see the day cycle here, and then I can go ahead and explain, because I read the patch notes is really what's going on. I haven't really done a lot of exploring. I've read the patch notes and what the explanation was around the patch notes. So when you click on a fishing dock, you can see the areas that the fishing dock are affecting. And if you actually watch it as it does, I'll have to get someone here so that it does the cycle right. If you watch it do its cycle, when it catches something, it actually eats some of the sort of color in the local area, representing the fish stocks. So the catchment area is how much, because it's basically got a circle around it. It doesn't show you the circle, where it can collect fish stocks from. Let's do the supply thing here. Keep it simple. Okay. So it's basically got a catchment area. Based on the amount of fish stocks you have in that area and the amount of catchment area, right, it gets a probability to catch fish. I think part of what was said in the balance is, in theory, the fishing, if you have a perfect fishing area, the fishing should be better. But if you had lots of fishing docks right next to each other, they should interfere with each other, as putting lots of fishing docks next to each other doesn't necessarily affect the catchment area, but it affects the fishing stock, right? Because as the fish, they deplete the fishing stock in the area. So if they're too close to each other, they'll deplete each other's fishing stocks, and then that will decrease the probability that they catch anything. So if you've got lots of fishing docks near each other, they sort of interfere with each other. Although it isn't immediate. And then if you have them spaced out enough, they don't. The zone has enough time to recover between fishing, between the rolls. It basically has no real effect. Twitch chat saying, "Oh no, I've got to replace my docks. Then they are too close to each other. If that is the new mechanic we have." Cool idea, honestly. I was curious about the balancing aspect. I'd like to thank you for the in-depth explanation. It's helpful, a bit more understanding and brain, honestly. Well, good to know that you found it helpful. I do try to know enough about the games I played that I can explain them. Sometimes just explaining what the mechanic is helps me understand the mechanic as well. There's the autosave kicking in. But yeah, so that's why at the beginning of the stream, initially I had 2 fishing docks here. I knew that they were going to interfere with each other, so I just went like, well, let's get rid of one of those and move it someplace else. And then we had 2 over here, so I'm like, yep, I know those are going to interfere with each other, so delete 1, move it someplace else. So I found that 6 fishing docks before and 6 fishing docks after, as long as they're not like right on top of each other, don't appear to have any real problems with each other. So like this one here is fine because it's got a sort of a circle around it, which has got no other competition. Again, this one's maybe a little bit, as you can see, the fish stocks are a little bit depleted. But 60-70% isn't good enough for me right now. Again, this is one of the older ones. The fish stocks aren't super great here, but we're still getting like 85% match. Right. And this is made it enough that the 6 doxers making comparable, if anything, not more, probably making more than I was before the patch. So I think it's a buff to the fishing docks, although they now compete with each other. Oh, I forgot to turn fishing nets on that one. Need to be getting even more fishing. Got my fishing nets on the 2 new ones. Now we got a mining camp here. Need some more ore. Ooh, some gold ore. Okay, the water pump's gonna need someone assigned to it for it to work. Having a can't smell there makes sense because it's right next to the, specifically right next to the steam boiler, so it might be suffering from a little bit of pollution. And then we got the nice bathhouse working, or should be working soon. I'm gonna go ahead and let's delete the stoves. So that's gonna have an immediate effect on our heating. Oh, missed one. And let's actually put a fire tender over here. And then backfill the heating, because we're going to need some heating. Let's add some of these in. Oh, actually, that's not a great place to do it, because I'm going to delete that building as well. So we don't need the bathing dock anymore without bathhouse. We'll have to go over and take baths instead. run out of iron bars. Okay, we'll have to remember that we need to put some, put a little bit more in here as soon as we get the iron. Twitch not saying, honestly, bring faith in me back my second map. I tried so hard on the map and spent time making a cool design. The only issue I felt was that patch 19 came out while I was migrating my food to start beginning soups. I'm trying to rely on 6 docks. It wasn't only for my food though. I was using fish for the economy as well, so it had me tossing up ideas how to manage that small, but to me, big impact on my swing when I had to save the map. Good news over. Yeah, that should be pretty recoverable. Worst case scenario, did you have a rollback patch, I think, in the beta. So you could roll back to the previous patch, do what you think you need to do to the docks, in case you need the docks while you're moving them, obviously. And then try to update that patch to the new version to see if you can do that. So that should be fixable. It'll probably take a little bit of work, of course, obviously, to move everything around. But yeah, that save should probably be savable. If the fishing dock's the only thing I think you have a problem with that save. Fishing docks are obviously also pretty easy to move. You just got to remember to spread them out now. Tax collector arrives today. Okay, so I should be able to get some more iron from him. Smuggler here. So we'll go ahead. I only need like 300 fish in the stockpile. I can probably go down to 250. Smoked fish. Sell some of the bread as well. Selling some ropes. Sell some furniture. The woven cloaks are for export as well. Sell some fuel. Oh, and we can sell the breading. So the breading might be something I want to uncap again. Let them make as much of that as they want. Although we'll try to keep 30 on hand so they keep working. Okay. Let's sell enough planks that I can get to the next gold bar. Pick up 13 here. There's the tax collector. We sell off all the trinkets. And with my 6 fishing docks, I'm definitely making enough fish that we're going to sell some fish off as well. We're going to have like 300 fish. Between the trinkets and the fish, we got first of the tax payments. Yeah, we'll go enough to get to the next turn. Running a little low on cotton, but I think this is getting close to the end of tax season as well. I don't think the taxman comes during the winter. And this should be the last day of... So this should be the last taxman for the year. Optimist, greedy... Greedy warm core actually wouldn't be too bad. Take you. Warm core? Educated Swift is not bad, thank you. Then we'll reject the rest. And then, yeah, we're officially in winter starting today, so it's just supply ships until spring. Okay, I'm gonna reroll until we get some of the more advanced items. Yeah, that's probably the set. There's no iron in this choice, but we'll take the soap and the ration meal spices. I think I'll take the medium option here. Oh, my apprentice tailor is done. So I can free up the craft master. those tea farms should work through the winter. Although only one of them is actually making any tea at the moment. Oh no, we hit the point where we got the second one making tea. That's nice. So I should actually get the tea building going. Tea roaster. Oh, it's interesting. It's a second-story building. Actually, let's open that one. Oh, third story. I didn't realize there was another one up that. That was the tea leaves being delivered. 40 tea leaves. Honestly, I might need 2 tea roasters. Let's build a second tea roaster as well. Got 22 iron. That might not be enough to get the whole network hooked up over here, but it's going to be a start. Nope, nope, that's enough. Should be. Did I go up a bit missing? You have no fuel. Because I thought you had been fueled by my tender. No, looks like not. Okay. Let's get 2 fire tenders assigned to the spot we put over here for that. It's a backup. Swift. Should have another Swift in here. Thinking. Nope. Okay, form core then. Almost enough to get full approval from 0 to nothing. Or from 0 to full. And it's probably time for me to put the midstream tea break in. For me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign 1 more house here before we put the part break in. Because we are... Actually, 2 more houses, because we need some more housing. I'll put them over here by the tea maker. Can I squeeze them in there? No. Okay, put them over here then. Because we know the tea maker's going to need some more workers. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up for you tomorrow. We are going to record another 2 parts tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around, because as I said, we're going to record another 2 parts tonight. But this is the point in the stream where I take a break to go replace the cup of tea, and try to get some of the ads out of the way while I'm doing that. So until the next part, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.